Imagine this. A quiet black girl steps off a yellow school bus, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her eyes scanning the towering brick walls of Brooklyn High. She's not here to make waves, not here to stand out, just here to finish her senior year and fade into the background. But before the week is over, a vicious bully picks her as the perfect target. The laughter starts, the whispers spread, and the stage is set for a public humiliation. Everyone expects her to break. Except, there's something they don't know. She's not just the new kid. She's a fighter. And she's about to show them all exactly what that means. Welcome to the Joni's Life Stories, where we dive into tales of resilience, courage, and the unexpected strength that changes everything. The yellow school bus hissed to a stop in front of Brooklyn High, its brakes groaning as the doors creaked open. Students poured out, laughing, shoving, moving in tight-knit clusters formed over years of familiarity. No one noticed the girl stepping off last. Imani Brooks adjusted the strap of her backpack, her face unreadable, her dark eyes scanning the sprawling brick building ahead. It wasn't much different from her old school in Chicago. Same crowded hallways, same noisy chatter, same unspoken rules of survival. Keep your head down, don't draw attention, and stay out of trouble. That was Imani's plan. It had been her approach at every school she'd attended since her family moved around, chasing her father's work. She wasn't here to make friends or leave a mark. She was here to finish her senior year, get her diploma, and move on to something better. As she stepped through the heavy double doors of Brooklyn High, the familiar sensation hit her, eyes on her, whispers traded in hushed tones. She knew how it worked. A new face always sparked curiosity, but it was different when you were a black girl in a mostly white school. They weren't just looking, they were sizing her up. Was she loud? Aggressive? One of those girls? Imani ignored it, keeping her gaze forward as she navigated the crowded hallway, searching for her locker. That's when she saw them. Jessica Carter's name had already floated around her on the bus, murmured with a mix of awe and caution. The tall, blonde girl stood at the center of a small group, her presence commanding attention. She wasn't just popular. She was in charge, the kind of girl who decided who belonged and who didn't. Flanking her were Monica and Ava, her loyal shadows, giggling at something Jessica said. But it was the two boys with them who caught Imani's eye. Ryan Carter, Jessica's older brother, was a senior and the school's star football player. Broad-shouldered and cocky, he wore a smirk that screamed untouchable. Next to him was Trey Morales, wiry and sharp-eyed, with a grin that suggested he talked just to hear his own voice. Imani knew their type, trouble wrapped in charm. She had no intention of getting involved. She turned to her locker, twirling the combination lock, but she could feel it. Jessica's gaze lingering on her, cold and calculating. Imani kept her head down. She wasn't here for this. The first class passed quietly, though the whispers followed her. Someone nudged her in the hallway, muttering, "She's from Chicago. Think she's one of those tough girls." Imani didn't react. Let them think what they wanted. At lunch, she found an empty table in the corner of the cafeteria and sat alone, eating in silence. The hum of conversation and laughter filled the air, but she stayed disconnected, her focus on her food. That is, until the laughter changed, louder, sharper, targeted. Well, look at this." Jessica's voice cut through the noise, smooth and dripping with amusement. Imani didn't look up, calmly taking a sip of her juice. "Oh, is the new girl shy?" Monica chimed in, her tone mocking. "I think she's just stuck up," Ava added, acting like she's too good to talk to anyone. The cafeteria was listening now. The show had begun. Imani continued eating, giving them nothing. Then a new voice joined in. "Maybe she doesn't speak English," Trey mocked, smirking. Laughter rippled around them. Ryan leaned against a table nearby, looming over her. "Or maybe," he drawled, "she's just slow." More laughter. Jessica smirked, watching Imani closely. She wanted a reaction. She needed one. Because if the new girl ignored her, that was a problem. If you ignored Jessica Carter, it meant you weren't afraid of her. Jessica reached forward and flicked Imani's juice cup, knocking it over onto her tray. The drink spilled across the table, soaking her food. The cafeteria went silent for a moment. Imani exhaled slowly, set her fork down, wiped her hands with a napkin and stood up. Without sparing Jessica or her crew a glance, She picked up her tray, walked to the trash, and dropped it in. Then she walked away. Laughter erupted behind her, but it wasn't as loud this time. It was forced, uneasy. Jessica felt it too, because when Imani glanced back before leaving, there was something in her eyes, something cold. Not anger, not fear, just a quiet, dangerous patience. For the first time in a long time, Jessica Carter felt something unfamiliar, uncertainty. The tension from the cafeteria lingered, spreading through the school like wildfire. By the next period, people were whispering about it in the hallways, retelling the moment Imani walked away, untouched, unaffected. It should have been a victory for Jessica, another new kid humiliated into submission. But something about Imani's response didn't sit right. She hadn't looked embarrassed or angry. It was almost like she'd been waiting for it. Jessica hated that feeling, the feeling of not being in control. In her next class, Jessica drummed her manicured nails against her desk, barely listening to the teacher. Monica leaned in and whispered, "That was kind of weird, wasn't it?" Jessica's eyes flicked toward her. "Weird how?" Monica hesitated. She didn't react. Most people, especially new kids, they at least look pissed or scared or something. She just didn't care. "She's faking," Jessica said, forcing a smile. "She wants to look tough." Monica nodded, but Jessica saw the uncertainty in her expression. She wasn't the only one thinking it. The whole cafeteria had felt it, and now, instead of laughing at the new girl's humiliation, people were curious about her. Jessica's jaw clenched. That wasn't how this worked. Across the room, Ryan stretched his arms behind his head, flashing a lazy grin. "You look stressed, sis." Jessica shot him a sharp look. "Shut up." Ryan chuckled, amused. "Relax. If she wants to act like a badass, we'll just push harder. She'll break." Trey, lounging behind them, smirked. "Yeah, maybe we need to turn up the heat a little." Jessica let their words settle. Maybe they were right. Imani was just another girl trying to act tough. If she thought she could walk around here like she was untouchable, she had another thing coming. By the next day, the pressure started to build. Imani could feel it before she even got to school, the way people looked at her differently, how the energy had shifted. She was no longer just the new kid. Now she was a challenge. She didn't react. She didn't need to. Walking to her locker that morning, she moved with the same calm, unbothered demeanor. But the whispers followed. She really just walked away. She didn't even look mad. What if she's actually dangerous? The rumors spread faster than wildfire, and it wasn't long before Jessica and her crew decided to test her again. It started small. During gym class, Monica and Ava made sure to accidentally bump into her whenever they passed. A sneaky elbow here, a careless shove there. Imani didn't react. That only encouraged them. During basketball, Ryan made sure to take the ball from her every time she got it, shoving her hard enough to make her stumble. Trey laughed every time. "Damn, new girl, do you even know how to play?" Imani ignored them. Jessica watched, arms crossed, waiting for something in Imani to crack. But nothing. Imani took every shove, every insult, every unfair move, and didn't flinch. If anything, she looked bored. It wasn't submission, it was control. Jessica gritted her teeth. That was worse. By lunch, Jessica was done playing games. Imani had barely picked up her tray when she felt it, a sudden, heavy shove from behind. She stumbled forward, her tray tipping, food splattering across the floor. The entire cafeteria went silent. Then the laughter started. Jessica's smirk widened as she 09:28 a.m. PKT on Wednesday, June 25, 2025.